Man, we already know where this is going. Y'all see the symbol on my hat, right? Well, I wear this hat all the time, but it just so happens to fit that Ubisoft recently has been getting into the biggest load of dookie I have ever witnessed in my lifetime. Now, Assassin's Creed has always been dubious on how historically accurate it is, but there was a period when Assassin's Creed was so well regarded for what it could represent that teachers of mine legitimately gave us extra credit points if we could play games like Assassin's Creed 3. Yes, this was during middle school. We literally got extra credit if we played Assassin's Creed 3 because of how historically accurate it was by the eyes of my teacher, at least. And now I know a middle school teacher is not of the same volition as, say, a college professor or even an actual historian. But that just goes to show that Assassin's Creed actually was appreciated at some point for historical accuracy. And in fact, going in even further, I remember learning a lot about the Middle East by playing the original Assassin's Creed game, because that takes place during the Holy Wars in the Middle East. You know, it's a lovely way to learn about that type of stuff. Or Assassin's Creed 4, how I got to learn about the age of pirating, because guess what? The game was just that well done. And there were numerous other cases. The Ezio collection, everybody. I learned a lot about Italy because of the Ezio collection. Assassin's Creed at one point was legitimately just god tier for learning about history, and it was good for people like me who really struggled to pick up reading material and just read it. Because of this, it actually got me into reading it and into going through the history and all that stuff. Because of Assassin's Creed, I read through more of history than I probably would have if not otherwise. And you know, same thing for like Assassin's Creed, say, Revelations, out in the desert, you know, out in the sands of Egypt. Learned a lot about Egypt. You know, I didn't know the pyramids were white and gold, but I know that now. I know it's weird. That's apparently a very common fact. But that's just a reference. Assassin's Creed games could teach you things, which is why I am really angry and irritated that they have gone down this route they have been going down currently. Why do we have a character of debatable historical significance as our main character? You know, I'm not even one of those guys who really give a fuck what the character is, because I love playing as Adewale and I love playing as Connor in their respective games. And I also love playing as Aveline in Assassin's Creed... Assassin's Creed Liberations. Assassin's Creed Liberations. My brain literally had a kerfuffle moment because I'm so focused on the stupidity of what they're doing now. Our first ever historically accurate main character is somebody who didn't even do the things you're claiming he did. Like, seriously, by all accounts, I've seen the main character being a fucking sword retainer, and I don't know what a sword retainer is, but I definitely know it's not a samurai. And then there's the other case with the female character where they have him as a shinobi, when I'm pretty sure women would have not been shinobis. Okay, yeah, I just double-checked. Women could not be shinobis in the Son Goku era of Japan. And I probably pronounced that horribly. I think it's Sengoku or something like that. But in that era of Japan, women were not shinobis, and sword retainers were not samurai. And that's definitely true for the modern era, because there's probably not even a need for samurais or shinobis in the modern era where you can just drop a ballistic missile onto somebody. Forgive me here, forgive me. I'm just a guy with Google, you know? I'm just a North American in the Northeast in America with Google. But you know how it goes. If I'm smart enough to use Google, I'm smart enough to recognize that, these characters couldn't be the characters you're saying they are in the era of time they are at, because even Google thinks you're full of shit. Like Ubisoft, you came up with a lie so thinly veiled that Google could see through it in a minute. In fact, most people using Google saw through it instantly. I have been holding off on going off on this for months now because I wanted it to be compounded that we aren't being horrible people for exposing the fact these characters could not have existed in the capacity they claim they existed. But you know what? We're finally here. It's been exposed. The guy who made the Yasuke story has been exposed as a fake and a fraud, so I will happily go off on my soapbox right now. Like, why, Ubisoft? Why is it that hard for you to make two Japanese males that didn't exist and just say they were shinobis and samurais. Was it that hard? Nobody would have gotten mad at you. You did the same thing for Connor. Connor doesn't exist as a real-life Native American, or Rakokoten, as you fucking are supposed to pronounce it. He doesn't exist as a real-life Native American, but nobody was pissed that you made Connor. Or how about Hatham? He wasn't a real Welshman. Templars aren't real, but nobody got mad that you made Hatham. Or how about Ezio? Ezio was not a real Italian. He never existed. But nobody had a problem that you made Ezio. And the same thing applies to Altai fucking Ear. So you were able to figure this out with all your previous games. But for the one time where you wanted to go fully historically accurate, not only did you bring us two characters that by the own laws of their land and the rules of their time period they couldn't be, but then you take it a step further and you make the world of Japan so horrible in this game from what we've seen from the previews and all that stuff, that people are pointing out that half the buildings are either from 50 to 100 years later or 50 to 100 years earlier. That's how bad it's getting. And what am I saying, man? I'm going to leave links to all this for y'all to read and consume, but I don't think anybody even needs to read them at this point because it's just obvious to all of us. You know, all I can hope is I hope we get Assassin's Creed from the old days back, which probably won't happen at this point because of how fucking stupid Ubisoft is being. But hey, I hope we get the old school Assassin's Creed games back at some point. I would love a game in the fashion of Assassin's Creed 3. I would love a game in the fashion of Assassin's Creed 4 again. But I don't trust modern day Ubisoft to do that. Because knowing my luck, and again, no offense here to my fellow people of tribal descent out there, knowing Ubisoft of the current era, they will make a white guy, put him in a Native American tribe, and then say this is Paleface the Fifth, the grand Native American warrior you've never heard of before. And they would probably do that. And at this point, honestly, they would probably say, hey, look at this one tribal guy who grew up on Sentinel Island. Yeah, he's our new pirate main protagonist. Yeah. You know, if they did Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 again, I'm pretty sure that's what would happen. We would get Paleface the Fifth and some random guy from Sentinel Island who probably doesn't even have the intelligence to tell me what an iPhone is. So, welcome to the modern world of Ubisoft. Welcome to the modern world of Assassin's Creed. I hope they get their act together, and I hope you enjoyed this little rant because I enjoyed doing it. I love ripping companies a new one. Have a good day, everybody.